Other people used as an excuse to murder one member of our community.
Or The 11th.
Bringing you true, unexpected stories.
And experience the new podcast movie thriller Ghostwriter.
Starring Kate Mara and Adam Scott.
Maybe it's not a whodunit. If we know who the killer is all along, the real mystery is why.
Find all the podcasts that matter to you in a universe of audio.
Odyssey.
This program is a paid commercial announcement and in no way represents the views of WPHT or its management.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. An Odyssey station. Investor Schooling Live with Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhaus on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Good morning and welcome to Investor Schooling Live. Coming to you from Investor Schooling headquarters, I'm Phil Falcone here with my business partner, or should I say business partner, Larry Steinhaus. We are the founders of Investor Schooling. Get ready to learn real estate investing and stock option trading. Call us anytime during the show with your questions at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. That's right, we're a live program, so you can call us anytime during the show, and we will take your calls. Don't worry about what we're talking about, because we love to take your calls, all right? We don't like to talk to each other. We rather talk to you guys, all right? So anyway, Investor Schooling is located in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, serving the Philadelphia area in a real brick-and-mortar building. We are local guys accessible to our students a minimum of 2 nights per week. Learn this business, the business of real estate investing and stock option trading, from people who live it every day. That's us. Anyway, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things today. Real estate investing, stock option trading. Why don't we get right into it?
Let's do that. What do you want to talk about?
Well, let's first let everybody know that we're now on the air on Saturday at 10 a.m. until the end of April.
No, I think it's till the beginning of April.
You just keep changing it every week.
Well, they keep changing it every week.
Well,
I don't know when we're on. I'm not even sure if we're on right now. Are we on right now?
For now, I'm just going to say...
Hello, is there anybody out there? Anybody listening? Hello? Oh, I think Tommy's listening because I see somebody online saying, good morning, Phil and Larry, so...
Well, for now, I'm just going to say the end of April.
All right, that's
fine. And if I'm wrong, I'll blame it on you.
I'm sure it's my fault. It's always my fault. We all know that.
Yeah, well, you should have somebody you can blame things on. Makes life easier.
We can blame everything on Trump.
Oh, that's what the media loves to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand that it's Trump's fault that Russia invaded Ukraine.
Absolutely.
I did hear that. I did hear that.
Yesterday, so how are you feeling, by the way?
What do you mean?
Your knee, how's you feeling?
You know, same old pain.
Still in pain?
Yeah, still in pain.
And the reason I wanted to bring that up is because I'm in pain, too. Yesterday, I slipped on the ice going out of my house. I fell down the stairs in front of my house, and I smashed my back against the stairs. And yesterday, I was walking around okay. Today, I'm a little bit in pain, but I wanted to say that I'm blaming that on Trump, too.
Okay. Well, I'm sure Trump will be upset about that.
Yeah, I think he's going to, if he could tweet on it, he would be really upset. He would say something to me that would,
Is he still banned from Twitter?
Oh, he's banned from all social media. Did you sign up for his new social media app?
No, but I know what it's called. I intend to sign up for it.
Yeah, I'm like 168,000 on the waiting list.
Yeah, I guess he didn't build a system that can take 1 million people right away.
Yeah, I'm sure most can't. It's actually a smart marketing move too to do that, because it gets more people interested in signing up, and you want to be closer on the waiting list.
Okay.
All right, what other exciting stuff do we have to talk about? I forgot to put my hat on today. I got to put my hat on.
Well, go ahead. So I'm on a list with the Philadelphia Eagles. I believe I'm on. I believe I'm number 300,000, which means if the entire stadium handed in their tickets about 15 times, I would then be able to get my seats.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. All right. Anyway.
I thought you were done with professional sports because they had the BLM on their helmets and stuff.
No, you must be confusing me with some racist guy.
Oh, okay.
That wouldn't be me.
Well, I don't watch sports anymore.
I am, there's a whole lot of people that I don't like in the world, but it's usually not based off of skin color.
So,
It's usually based off of the obnoxious things that come out of their mouths. Like Omni.
like Omri, not me. Okay, because he was looking right at me when he said that, so I'm thinking he meant me.
All right.
But I only say obnoxious things to try to make you laugh.
Okay. So why don't we talk a little bit about some real estate?
All right, let's do it.
There is more money than there is deals.
That's absolutely true, and people don't get that. They're like, I don't know if I should look for a deal if I can't get the money. Believe me, you can get the money. The money is the easiest thing to find. Right?
Is that it? You're done?
I'm done for that. I thought maybe you wanted to add to that.
Well, usually you talk more than one sentence. How about we put a little effort into this, all right?
What do you want? You want everything from me? I mean, come on now. My phone's not ringing, is it? Yes, it is. Okay, there we go. All right. So, yeah, so listen, first of all, there are banks that'll lend you money, and a lot of people don't even believe that they will, but they will. They'll lend you money. I mean, if you have a credit score of anything in the 6s or above, you can get money from a bank. But we don't even teach getting money from a bank because getting money from a bank has its hurdles and its issues. And one of the biggest hurdles is if I'm buying a house for $100,000 that's worth, I don't care, $200,000. The most the bank's going to lend me is $80,000, and it doesn't make any sense that they will do that. But I can get money from private lenders. We can get money from hard money lenders, and hard money lenders is a way to go. But private lending is even better to go because hard money lenders have their own set of underwriting rules, where a private lender, like if I borrowed money from Phil or I borrowed money from one of the listeners right now who's listening, there are no rules. It's real simple. The rules are whatever we agree on.
Whatever the borrower and lender agree upon.
Exactly. And by the way, if anybody wants to call in, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. And if you're listening on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and LinkedIn, feel free to leave us, let us know if you have any questions online. But we always like it if you call in, 855-939-1137. All right.
I've borrowed a lot of money in my career. At one point, I believe I had about $8 million in money spread out over my portfolio in Florida. And
this is money you borrowed, $8 million.
Money I borrowed.
Right. Yeah.
I'm talking about money I borrowed from private lenders. Mm-hmm. And at one point, I owed $3 million to just one guy.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, it was a good relationship at the time, but
things happen.
Yeah, life happens. So, but I'm not complaining. I'm fairly happy with the way things have shaken out.
Yeah, absolutely, and and it's funny because we are the antithesis of guys like Dave Ramsey who say you should never be in debt, and that is absolutely wrong unless you want to be mediocre. Because I will say that there are people out there who never want to, they don't want to advance. They just want to make sure they can pay their bills every day and never have anything extra. And that's okay. That you can do if you follow the advice of guys like Dave Ramsey. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to get rich, you have to go into debt. And the best way to go into debt is to go into debt leveraging assets that will make you rich. And I don't care what your assets you're leveraging that will make you rich, just do it. I don't necessarily suggest you buy Bitcoin with your credit card. I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, that could be a big mistake.
Yeah, but if you're gonna buy houses, you can buy them with your credit card. By the way, I came up with a new idea last night. Speaking of this, so we're always telling people.
Did it happen when you fell down the steps?
No, it happened while I was sitting in pain. Actually, it happened last night after I had those 3 Manhattans.
Okay.
Or was it 4?
According to the receipt at the restaurant, I believe it was 3.
Yeah, and I wasn't driving, so if you guys are worried, I wasn't driving. My wife drove me home, and your wife laughed at me. She said I was very funny when I was drunk.
Yeah, and then she drove me to a bar.
All right, I'm not sure whose wife loves them better then. If your wife drove you to a bar and my wife drove me home.
It was only 7:00 or something when we left the restaurant.
Yeah, I know.
We just weren't ready to go home.
Yeah, there you go.
That's all.
All right. So anyway, I was thinking last night. So I tell everybody to get HELOCs. So I was getting HELOCs. So I have some money out of my HELOC. I had about $100,000 on one of my HELOCs. I have several HELOCs, by the way. I have several HELOCs and several properties. I have $100,000 out of my HELOC, and I got one of those letters from one of my banks that had the credit card. They let you get it was 2.9% with no fee. I've never seen that before. So 2.9% for 18 months and no fee. And I called them up and I'm like, can I move this to my checking account? And like, no, you can only pay off debt with it. I'm like, oh man, because that was the first time I ever had that restriction too. And I'm trying to figure out how to access this money. I'm like, how do I access? I don't know any other credit cards. I don't know any money, and very little on credit cards. So I didn't know how to access it. I can access on this card up to $50,000. And I'm like, you know what? I want to see if I can access this money. I'm trying to figure it out. And it finally dawned on me that I could go to that credit card and pay my HELOC down, and then borrow the money back off my HELOC. So basically, I write it. I go onto the website and I say, pay off this credit card, pay off this debt, which is the HELOC. 40,000 of the 50 is what I took, and I sent that to the HELOC, and that should be applied probably next day or two, and then I'll just pull the 40,000 back out of the HELOC, and now I got the money at 2.9% that I can do anything I want with, buy a house with it, fix houses, or anything I want with without having to pay a high fee.
Yeah, I'm like I was mentioning to you last night at dinner that I'm thinking about banging out. 'Cause I got a little over $100,000 on this HELOC that I just got. It used to be with TD Bank for $150,000, and Citizens Bank offered me a $300,000 line of credit, but they carried that debt over, and I'm thinking I'm just gonna blow it out because I'm getting ready to buy. I'm getting ready to spend about $500,000 in cash to buy a property in Florida, and I just think it sort of makes sense to me to do it.
Yeah.
I'm a bit conflicted on it, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I might as well, because I want to be able to access all of the $300,000 when I'm ready to make my move. That's one check, right? And
it's also good to have it in your account so you could show proof of funds to the real estate agent that you're going to buy that house. Although there's other ways to get proof of funds letters, but you could do that too. You could just show that money sitting in your checking account just for a day.
yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried about that.
Exactly.
We'll see. I mean, if it's a cash offer, it'll be for real. It's going to have to be.
Yeah, right. I
have to be,
understand,
right?
because you're having trouble finding something because you're getting outbid by everybody.
Well, it's been a crazy process so far.
It's going to end in about a year. It's going to end. There's not going to be bidding wars anymore in about a year. This might be this is going to be the last. This April, or this spring, I should say, is going to be the last great real estate boom prices, and that's it.
Well,
After
the
that,
only
it's over.
signs that we have of that right now is that the mortgage applications are slowing down.
Yep.
So it is possible that it's coming sooner than you think.
Yeah, well, this spring will be the end. And then next year, prices are going to start to drop just a little bit. They're just going to drop a little bit. And then we're going to start to see, more normalcy. And we're also going to start to see people foreclosing on their houses. And that's when you really need to learn how to buy houses to save those people from having their credit destroyed, and also at the same time buying their house and being able to make money and rent those houses.
Okay, but there's still a lack of supply and demand.
Right.
Right.
Lack of
which
supply.
is,
Right.
Which is really causing the problem.
Right.
Right.
But that's going to change.
The lack of supply.
Yep.
Is causing euphoria. And the demand is higher than ever, especially in Florida. So the craziness down there, I feel, is going to still continue.
It'll continue for a little while. So the problem is fear of missing out. So you have people right now, they're afraid that if they don't buy a house right now, the prices are going to even go higher. And if they don't get a house right now and they don't get the house that they want right now, they're not going to be able to afford it because of, one, the price is going to go higher, and because mortgage rates are going to go up. So that's the fear of missing out. Next year, you're going to have the opposite. You're going to have the fear of missing out. If I don't sell my house now, I'm not going to get the highest price for it. So it's literally going to flip. And what's going to happen is that the sellers are not going to realize it's become a buyer's market, and they're going to be very surprised. And that's why I say now, if you want to sell a house, sell it this spring. If you want to buy a house, you might want to wait a year, but you don't have to. I mean, especially if you're buying a house that you're going to live in, don't wait a year. You want to just buy a house and just live in it, and don't worry about the price, the fact that it goes down. As far as investment properties, because it's different with investment properties, you could buy an investment property no matter what, whether it's, the market's hot, when the market's low. It all depends on whether the numbers work. If the numbers don't work, it doesn't matter if you're buying it, what market you're buying it. If I buy a house that's worth $500,000 that I'm making, I don't know, $1,000 a month on, I don't care if 3 years from now the house is worth $350 if I'm still making that $1,000 or more a month. It doesn't matter.
Well, you know what I'm doing. I'm planning to buy my last house.
Right.
Right. So
Your forever home.
yeah, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, the place I'm gonna hopefully bury myself in the backyard. Okay. So
Are you going to tell anybody you're buried there? Before you
no,
bury
I
yourself?
won't be able to because they don't let you do that.
Oh, I'm just wondering. Also, how do you bury yourself?
Well, you get somebody to do it for you.
Okay. How will you know they did it? How will you know they're honorable? I like your idea of jumping out of a plane into the what was it, meat shredder? No, the
Actually, what my wife hates when I talk about this, but I don't want to just die like an old man. I don't want to just like have a heart attack in my sleep. That's boring, right? If a man's gonna die, if a real man is gonna die, he should have a way to die that he would like to die. The way I would like to die is in the year 2076, which would be the 300th birthday of the United States on July 4th. So July 4th, 2076. If I'm capable of doing it, I plan on skydiving out of an airplane. I won't need a parachute. I'm going to go through the roof of a meat grinding factory directly into the meat grinder. And just imagine that story in a newspaper.
Are you going to be reading? You think there's going to be newspapers?
111-year-old man skydives with no parachute through the roof of a meat grinding factory and ends up making hamburgers.
Wearing a shirt that says Soylent Green is people, for those of you who know that movie.
What are you talking
It's a
about?
movie called Soylent Green. You have to go see it. All right. Anybody, if you guys are online, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. Yes, we're talking real estate and the stock market and stock options and how Phil wants to die.
So why don't we get into education is a process,
Okay.
right? So there's a lot of people out there, they go around to this meeting, to that meeting, to this meeting, they're trying to pick up a little bit of information any way they can, and, I don't blame anybody for doing that, but I think that that's probably not anywhere near the best way to learn this business. If you really want to learn this business, you got to get your butt to investor schooling. We have a curriculum here that we teach people about all of the things that are important. We do all the filtering for you. We decide the things that you need to understand. Like just Thursday night, we were talking about the things that you need to know if you're going to lend money to people.
Yeah.
That was a terrific class that you put on Thursday night.
Thank you.
It was almost as good as mine.
I try to compete with you all the time, but I can never be as good as you.
So I was talking about a little bit about how you can buy houses with none of your own money and talking about the wholesaling. So a lot of people, in Philadelphia know about wholesaling, but you constantly have to talk about it because, in my opinion, it's the easiest, fastest way to make money in this business.
Absolutely.
And if you don't do it for real, if you don't actually go out and look for these deals, you are missing out on a tremendous amount of money. I mean, even if you did one wholesale deal a month, you could probably make $150,000.
Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, and it's amazing to me that I keep teaching it, I keep talking about it, and I often say, how many people here have done a wholesale deal, and not enough hands go up.
Yeah, well, it's also it's a business. So if you wanted to make 100, 150, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 a year, it's a business. You have to run it like a business. You have to do your marketing. You have to have your sales staff. It may be you. You have to have I shouldn't say your sales staff, your buy staff, I guess, going out and talking to people. And if you're not running it like a business, you're not going to make those numbers. But you can wholesale a deal from here to, one here, one there. And one of the things that we teach is we teach multiple ways to buy properties, multiple ways to make money with any property that you go see. And what I often say, and Phil often says it too, is I go out and see somebody and I let the house and their situation tell me how I'm going to buy it. Because it's not always a wholesale, it's not always a subject to, which is when we take over the mortgage. It might be a cash deal. It might be something that I may be able to sell to somebody else. Or in the end, if I don't feel that there's any value in it for me, I may actually list it as a real estate agent and try to make a commission to sell it for the person and help them sell it. So there's so many different ways to make money when you go see somebody who's in a situation that they have to sell their house. Now, situations that have to sell their house could be anything. It could be they want to move. It could be that they're in a desperate situation. You know, a lot of times we talk about taking over people's mortgages and taking over their house and taking over their mortgages, and that's rescuing some people because some people owe more money than their house is worth. And we could go in and we could not only take over that house, but they won't have to bring any money to closing. They can go move. They could go on with their life without having a foreclosure on their hands, and they could do whatever it is that they need to do. Sometimes there's a divorce situations or other situations where somebody literally has to move for a new job. You know, somebody who bought a house in Philadelphia or Philadelphia area, and then then they got a job offer in California, but they owe more money than their house is worth. How are they going to do that? And they don't want to rent it, because a lot of people don't want to be landlords because they didn't come to investor schooling to learn how to be a landlord. Because we teach that as well. We teach people how to be a landlord as well. But assuming that they don't want to be a landlord, then there you go. You're also gonna be rescued by me or by Phil or by one of our students. So you can go do that and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be showing a house at 12 o'clock today.
Oh, you really?
Yeah.
Why don't you got it for rent, right?
Yeah.
So technically you can advertise that right now on the radio. So why don't you tell everybody if they want to rent a house to come see you?
Hey, come to think of it, we are on the radio. Yeah. Well, if you're interested in renting a house, I have a property. It's a 4-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms in great shape. It's in East Norriton. If you're interested in that, you can just give me a call at 215-620-2496.
And that would be your cell phone number.
Yeah, it's fine.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So they can call you and come see it. All right. Cool. So real quick, why don't let me let everybody know they could call in at 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. Hey, I heard we have our new commercials ready and queued.
Okay.
You want to hear them?
Sure.
All right. Put them out, Henry.
Hi, I'm Phil Falcone from Executech Suites. We're an executive suite center in Huntington Valley on Buck Road, 67 Buck Road, Huntington Valley. I'm sure you've driven past it. We're right in between Street Road and County Line Road. We have 47 offices in the prestigious address of Huntington Valley. I have offices starting at $595 a month. You're probably wondering, Phil, what do I get for $595 a month? Let me tell you. You get an office big enough for one person. You get the furniture in that office. You get the telephone on the desk. You get the telephone numbers. You get the fax numbers. You get 2 full-time receptionists to answer the phone in the name of your company and patch the calls to you. So if your company's ABC Painting Company, hey, ABC Painting Company, how can I help you? Would you like to talk to Bob? Let me get him on the phone. You could be home sleeping on your couch and I'll patch the calls right to you. What else do we give you? We give you the conference rooms. We give you the kitchen. We give you the mailboxes, the printer, the copier, the scanner, UPS service, you name it. All of the utilities, cleaning service, and best of all, we give you free coffee. Get yourself to Executech Suites. Phone number is 215-942-7701, 215-942-7701, executechsuites.com.
This is Larry Steinhaus from Investor Schooling. You've been hearing our ads for 4 years now, and you still haven't attended a complimentary class. Go to Investor Schooling right now. Sign up for this Thursday night. If you have questions, you can call us at 215-876-3002, 215-876-3002. Come this Thursday, complimentary class. Learn real estate, learn stock option investing, and learn everything you've ever wanted to know about money. 215-876-3002, investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhaus from Investor Schooling, and you are invited to a special presentation on April 24th. That's right, we're having an all-day presentation with freedom and finances. We're going to have some special guests that are going to talk to you about how to be free with money and how to be free with your life. Make sure you go to the number4mmw.com. That's number4mmw.com. Sign up for tickets right now. You are going to be amazed at this amazing event. 4mmw.com. This is Larry Steinhaus, Investor Schooling. This is Larry Steinhaus from Investor Schooling. Are you tired of being broke? If you're tired of being broke, go to Investor
Back after this commercial.
Complimentary class this Thursday and learn how not to be broke. That's right. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday. And if you have any questions, you can call us at 215-876-3002, 215-876-3002. Go to investorschooling.com, sign up for this Thursday, and learn how not to be broke. investorschooling.com. back to Investor Schooling Live. We are here. I am Larry Steinhaus. I'm here with my business. I can't do it the way you do it.
Business
Partner, Phil Falcone, and we were talking real estate. We're talking stock options. We're talking the stock market. I'm sure we're going to get into the war somewhere because it's affecting the stock market. And of course, we are also taking your phone call at 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137, and we will talk to you about anything you want to talk about. And we'll even talk to you about, I don't know, we'll talk about how many drinks we had last night if somebody wants to call us and ask us.
So why don't we talk about, I was watching a YouTube video. You know, sometimes I go on YouTube just looking for things that I could talk about in the real estate world. And I was watching a video with Kiyosaki, and he was talking about how he took a course in 1974, and his instructor told him to go out and look at 100 properties.
Wow.
Which took him a long time to do.
Yeah.
Right? And he now controls $400 million worth of real estate with partners. It's not all his,
right.
But
that's pretty wild.
Yeah, he's done very, very well.
So in other words, if you come to Investor Schooling, we'll tell you to look at 100 properties, and we will tell you that is the way Kiyosaki did it. But we're not going to tell you that you'll become Kiyosaki.
Yeah, you know. We named a hallway here after
we did, actually.
Yes.
We have certain rooms that we named for certain people, and we actually have a hallway that leads from one building to the other. We call it the Kiyosaki Corridor, and it's named after him. It's exactly right. So Harold online has a question. What do you think of all the new construction going on in Philadelphia?
I'm not that on top of all the new construction going on in Philadelphia.
So I'm actually surprised. I don't know if is there actually more construction than normal? It's possible. I mean, I honestly, you know, I haven't seen Philadelphia in 2 years because, you know, I can't go in there, you know, unless you have to wear your virtue signaling.
Your 2 masks, your face shield, your Vax card, I believe you need to have a hypodermic needle hanging out of your arm.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you can go into a restaurant.
So I haven't seen it, but assuming that if there is new construction going in Philadelphia, I don't know. I mean, what's exactly your question? Do you want to know if you should be doing it, or you want to know if you should be buying it, or do you want to know if we just think it's pretty? I don't know what the question is.
I mean, I think if it's a neighborhood in need of gentrification and it's being built up, that's a good thing for Philadelphia. That's a good thing for the people of Philadelphia. It's a good thing for the businesses of Philadelphia, the plumbers, the construction guys, the Home Depots, the Lowe's. I think it's all good. But Philadelphia has run me through the ringer. I started buying properties in Philly in 1989. And by 2018, I had sold every single one of them because Philly was just driving me crazy.
Yeah, I can understand that. Philadelphia has a lot of rules that don't make any sense.
Yeah. I don't like the way they run their city. I don't care to invest there anymore. At one point, I sold some 20-something buildings in Philadelphia, and I moved most of that money down to Florida, where, guess what? Nobody bothers me.
Yeah.
Nobody.
But what's the difference between Florida and Philadelphia? Is there something about the politics that are different there?
Yeah, a little bit about the politics,
Yeah.
The funniest thing is, okay, so you need 4 licenses to do business in Philadelphia. You need real quick, you need a business privilege license to enable yourself to even be in business. And then you need a landlord license, which you have to pay. I don't know what it is anymore, but it used to be like $60 a unit. So imagine if you had 100 units. I mean, it's an awful lot of money you have to pay. And then they also have a rental suitability license. I refuse to get that one. I have no idea what that is or why.
So that's not a license, by the way.
Okay.
It's a rental suitability certificate.
Okay. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but just to explain it, because I know we've had this conversation before. I mean, I could care less about Philadelphia too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't invest in there either. But what it is basically, just to inform the people listening, it's basically a sheet of paper that you prepare for your tenant to sign that says that they walk through the property and they feel that it's in fine enough shape to rent, and there's nothing major wrong with it. And
well, I don't have a problem with the process. I have a problem with the whole concept.
Right.
That what? The landlord can't be trusted? That he needs the tenant's approval?
In a way, yes. So here's what happens. So now the tenant, and this is the ridiculous part of this. So you have, and that's actually a really good idea for any any property you're going to rent. Because imagine your tenant doesn't pay the rent for 2 months, and then you go to court, and the tenant says, "Well, the heat didn't work from the day I moved in," and that's obviously not true. They're just using that as an excuse. So now if they had a certificate or something that they signed, they said, "Yeah, I tested the heat, I tested the hot water, everything worked the day I moved in." So now they can't use that against you. The problem I have is that the fact that Philadelphia uses it against you if you don't have them fill the form out. So in other words, if they go to court, they say, "Yeah, I didn't pay the rent, I just didn't feel like paying the rent, and if you want to evict me, go ahead." The judge says, "Well, let me see the rental suitability certificate." And you say you don't have one, and the judge says, "You can stay there, Mr. Tenant, as long as you want until he gets one. And if you don't sign one, he can't evict you." Now you're in trouble. Isn't that ridiculous?
Well, I'm not in trouble because I don't have any more
Right.
properties in
I
Philly.
got you. But that's where the problem is with Philadelphia and the ridiculousness of that form.
And then if you want to be a wholesaler, you also need a license.
You need a
for that.
wholesale license, right? Or a real estate license. But the wholesale license, the whole concept of wholesale license is you're basically just saying, hey, you're informing the person that you're buying this for profit, which we do anyway. We have them sign a piece of paper that says we're doing it, and they know we're doing it for profit. We explain to them why we're doing it and why it's good for them, and obviously we're buying it for profit. But I can never understand that one either. The wholesale license doesn't even make any sense. You don't have to take courses. You just have to register yourself, and it's just another way.
They just want their transfer tax.
It's not even the transfer tax. They want the fee to get the license.
So, what do you think of this statement? If you can raise capital, you will always be a rich man.
I think that's an awesome statement. Where did that statement come from? Did you write that?
Not exactly. Most of what I hear things, I think about things come up.
That's a great statement.
You write a script for your show every day
Yeah.
on Money Chat Now. I do the same thing. I look for different places to get inspiration from, different concepts.
Sure.
Sometimes I go on YouTube. Sometimes I go over past scripts. Sometimes I go over my own experiences. You just keep mixing it up.
So we mentioned it before. We mentioned that you could always find money and you can't find deals. So why don't I ask you a question? How does someone go about, let's say I want to buy a $500,000 4-family house, and it's going to be a profitable house, but I have no money.
4-family house? What would that be?
A fourplex?
You mean a quad?
A quad, yeah.
Okay. A quad, yeah. Yeah. So,
We just all the students listening just laughed.
yeah. So, if I was going to buy a quad, and I did own a quad once.
Isn't that like a 4-wheeler that has 4 wheels on it?
I'm actually still mad that I sold that quad because the guy I sold it to works out at the LA Fitness gym, and I got to see him all the time.
And he tells you how much money he's making.
Yeah, I should have kept that property.
But anyway, so how would you go to raise money for a quad that you were going to buy for $500,000 and you had $10,000 in the bank?
Well, obviously,
and you can't go to a bank,
right?
Yeah,
my favorite way to get money is to just tell people about the real estate deal. So you could put together a memorandum if you want with some photographs with an explanation about what you're paying for the property and what you intend to do with it and how you're going to add value to that property. And I have a document that I call the private placement memorandum, which is basically just a document that was created in the past, probably like 12 years ago. I created it with a partner, and I use it to show it to private investors. And I say, this is the project that I'm looking to buy. I need X amount of dollars. I'm going to pay this interest rate. And you basically present the deal in a professional manner in a document to somebody who can take a look at it and possibly give you their opinion about how they feel about it. So if I was raising money, I would first create a property placement memorandum.
Well, you could even just do a slideshow, or you could just do because it's one-on-one. It's not a fund.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying that this is a way that I've always done it, right? And then I would email that document to various private lenders that I know of and see if they have any interest in it.
Okay, but so let's go back though, because the people listening, they don't know private lenders. They don't know anybody.
Mm-hmm.
They know you, they know me. So how would you actually do this? How would you suggest that somebody who's done this for the first time find someone who could lend them money, a private person?
Well, if I went down to the bare bones basics, I'd say grab your cell phone. and start going through your cell phone. Your cell phone probably has thousands of names in it. I know mine does. Maybe you're not as friendly as I am. Maybe you don't. You only have 500. That's still plenty. And what I do is I would go through and I would call people and I would say, hey, would you possibly be interested in getting involved in being a private lender? I'm willing to pay 8% on the money you lend me. And, go through your phone. If you think about it, the people who are in your phone, you must have spoken to them at some point, especially if their name is saved in your phone. You must have talked to them at some point. Maybe you don't talk to them that often, but they're in your phone, which means that you do technically know them. And you could have a conversation with them about what you're trying to do. I'm trying to buy this particular property. It's in X amount town. I need this much money. Is that something you think you might be interested in? And you can talk to people about that. And there's an easy way to raise money. I usually start with my phone, unless I have a specific lender that I'm having conversations with. I might go to them directly, but I've done a lot of private lending in my past, but I haven't done that much in the recent last few years.
Right, and then the other thing too is don't make this mistake. Don't say, "Hey, Phil, I kind of sort of might want to be a real estate investor. Could you maybe kind of sort of lend me $200,000 if I kind of sort of maybe find a deal?"
Yeah, that's not a real powerful way to do it.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people do. They make that mistake. The best way to do it is go find a deal.
Yes.
And if you find a deal that's a good deal, people will be chasing you to lend you the money. Trust me, they really will. If you absolutely do it the right way and you have a deal that's making money, and you can show that person that they're not going to lose their money if they lend it to you, you have a clear path to pay them back. And that's how you're going to handle it, and that's how you're going to find the money. It'll actually work for you.
And I would elaborate on that to say that, using other people's money to buy real estate is the best way to go, of course.
Absolutely.
But, you're not looking for multimillionaires. And in many cases, you might be looking for just a mom and pop.
Yep. Somebody who has an IRA that maybe they're making 3% on, or they have an annuity that they're making 3% on, and then you say, "Hey, listen, I'll give you 8%." That actually happened. I often tell a story about my brother who he called me up one day and he says, "Listen, Larry, I should have called you first, but I want to ask your opinion on this. I put this money into some annuity, and they're paying me 1.5% a year." And I said, "Seth, what's wrong with you?" I said, "Why don't you tell me you had $100,000? I'll give you 7% for it." And he goes, "Really?" And I go, "Yeah." And I immediately we cashed in the annuity. I even paid the fee to cash it in because it cost him $3,000 to sell it back. And then I gave him 7%. He loved it. He thought it was great. Matter of fact, he's really mad because last week I refinanced that house as one of my refinances, and he's really mad that I paid him back.
That's funny. Hey, look. So probably about 10 years ago, when my mother was still alive and she was like the leader of the family for sure, I was talking to my mom about private lending, and I said, "Would you like to get involved in it? I could pay more than you're making." And my mom, I offered her 7.5%, and she said, "Well, I'm already getting 6," and she shook me down for 2 points higher.
Really?
She wasn't gonna move. She wasn't gonna move her money for 1.5 points.
That's really funny.
Well, okay, she's a smart businesswoman.
Yeah,
so
she is, but that's really funny.
Right, and I was glad to pay her 8, and I'm very proud of the fact that my mom is gone, but my father actually lives off of that money today.
That's great.
In fact, I actually have right here in my bag, 1/3 of the money was paid back. The check just came in the mail yesterday. And, so now my dad's payments are going to go down, but he has now more a lump sum of cash.
Great.
And, I'm kind of preparing for the end for my father. So I'm getting the money paid back because I know that I'm probably going to be paying my heirs, the heirs that my father's will indicates, that's going to have to be distributed in the future. So I'm moving in that direction, and it just so happens I happen to get the check yesterday.
Yeah,
I haven't even put it in the bank yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we teach about money. We teach, we're not financial planners, thank goodness, Because if we were financial planners, we'd have certain laws that we can't tell you the truth. We tell you the truth, and then we tell you to go find an attorney to write the documents, and then we go find. We don't even sell products. So in other words, if we tell you to go buy an annuity from somewhere because we think that's right for you, we don't sell them. So we tell you to go buy them. We tell you to go buy an ETF. We tell you to go buy them. Go find your own broker, and if you want to, I could question the broker for you. That's what we would do for our students. But understand that we're not selling products. We're teaching them flat out on the basis of an education. We teach people the real way to use life insurance. I mean, most people have no idea how to use life insurance. They think it's only good for somebody who's going to die. Well, there's so many awesome benefits to a whole life insurance policy, and it's funny because like on the station on 1210, there's a couple of people who are using it to do other things, like I don't know, I don't want to talk about them, but they're using it to do a couple of other things. They don't even tell you it's life insurance. I recognize the commercial from the commercial, what they're doing, and I know it's a life insurance product that they're selling, and I know how they're doing it. But we also teach that, and again, we're not life insurance licensed, so you can't even buy it from us. You would go there, or you would go to somewhere else, maybe somebody that you know or somebody that we know, and say and go buy it. We teach anything that has to do with money. As a matter of fact, my new book is called Money Hacks, with the subtitle because everything you think you know about money is wrong. And the reason I wrote that is because it's true. Most people have no idea about anything about money. You probably didn't even know that you could buy a house in your IRA.
They're certainly not going to teach you in school, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're going to teach you just the opposite. They're going to teach you how to be broke. They're going to say, hey, come to college, take out a $100,000 loan that we know you can't pay back, and even if you can't get a job with our college education, sorry, you still owe the $100,000, and that's going to ruin your life forever.
So, funny thing about banks is that they have you save your money in their bank, and then they invest your money.
Right, they invest your money, right. So, you know.
What more do you need to know about life?
Right, and the banks insult you when you go into them, right? They have the lollipops at the counter, and what are the lollipops called? Dum-dums.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're giving you dum-dums and let you know, hey, this is how dumb you are. We're even insulting you.
So they're paying you like 0.01% on your money, but then they're lending it back to you to do an investment property for whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, if you guys want to call on 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137, and if you're watching on YouTube or LinkedIn or Twitter, you can also Facebook. You can also leave comments or ask a question on there, like Harold did. We never really got to the heart of his question, though, did we? But we basically told him why we don't do anything in Philadelphia. But it's 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. All right, where do you want to go next, Phil?
Why don't we talk a little bit about the supply and demand issues that we're discussing with the real estate market? Let's talk about just Pennsylvania for now.
Sure.
I mean, somebody's going to have to build more houses, right?
Well, that's what he wanted to know. He asked you about building houses in Philadelphia.
Yeah, well, I'm not really familiar with what's going on in Philadelphia, as you know. But regardless of, Pennsylvania, Florida, wherever you're talking about, there's obviously not enough houses. And how do you see that shaking out?
So, obviously, there's a lot of new construction going on right now. But again, will they be sustainable construction? So the houses are going to, and have you seen the prices of new construction? They're insane. I mean, you're getting, some of these houses are unbelievable, like the one by Hatboro Station. Those things are extremely expensive. They finished them finally, but they were extremely expensive. And I don't know how anybody could afford new construction, and you don't get anything.
Are you talking about those Toll Brother houses by the Warminster Road?
Yeah, exactly, right.
Okay,
I mean, those are insane, but they're really nice houses, but the location is terrible. I mean, Hatboro is not a bad place to live, that's not what I mean, but it's right near the train, it's right near the factory, it's right near, I mean, it's like, wow, and they snuck
cemetery.
The cemetery, right. They snuck
these
buildings in, and there's no room to even park anywhere. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
That's how these guys are just squeezing houses everywhere.
Well, and I'm really familiar with that area because that area is a major flood zone.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and I just sold a house in that major flood zone, and I don't know what that's costing the buyer, but it must be expensive.
So I'm going to tell you, that place, that Hatboro Station, in about 1 year, I'm going to start hitting that up heavily with mail. You know why? because the housing prices are going to go down, and all those people bought those houses with FHA mortgages, and some of them are going to need to move, and they're not going to be able to, and I'm going to take over their mortgages, and I'm going to buy those properties.
Good plan.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. You know what? Why don't we give the phone number real quick one more time? 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. And why don't we let Henry throw some commercials up?
Sounds good.
Phil Falcone from InvestorSchooling.com. I'm inviting you to a complimentary class this Thursday night at 7 p.m. I will teach you how to buy ugly houses and make them beautiful. As a bonus, we will also teach you stock option investing. 7 p.m. this Thursday night, 215-876-3002, InvestorSchooling.com.
Hey everybody, it's Larry Sinus from InvestorSchooling.com. You heard my partner Phil Falcone tell you why you should be there this Thursday night to learn about real estate investing and learn about stock options trading. We're telling you right now you will make more money than you've ever made in your entire life if you learn these two skills. This Thursday night at 7 o'clock, go to InvestorSchooling.com. Pull over right now, take out your phone and go to InvestorSchooling.com. RSVP right now, InvestorSchooling.com. See you Thursday.
Phil Falcone here from Investor Schooling. One of the best decisions I've ever made in my life was to be a real estate investor. If you feel the same way, all you need to do is get your butt to InvestorSchooling.com. If you want to learn this amazing business, just call 215-876-3002, 215-876-3002. I'll be there to help you learn this business. See you at InvestorSchooling.com. InvestorSchooling.com.
This is Larry Steinetz with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of the Biden economy? Do you want to learn how to thrive in the Biden economy? Because we're going to teach you that this Thursday night at Investor Schooling. So go to InvestorSchooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to thrive in the Biden economy. You could also call us at 215-876-3002, 215-876-3002. Tell me you're tired of inflation. InvestorSchooling.com. We will see you Thursday. This is Larry Steinetz from Investor Schooling. I am the author of 4 books, and my latest book, Money Hacks, is now out. You could actually go to Barnes & Noble and order the book, or we're even going to do something special. On June 1st, we're going to have a dinner and book launch for you to learn about us and for us to learn about you. You can go to InvestorSchooling.com, and you can sign up for that by clicking the button that says, I want to attend the book launch. Go to InvestorSchooling.com and learn more. Also, you can call us at 215-876-3002. This is Larry Steinitz from Investor Schooling. Have you learned how to make money with stock options trading yet? This is something you want to learn. This is an amazing skill, and you can learn how to make money at Investor Schooling this Thursday night by going to InvestorSchooling.com and signing up for one of our complimentary classes. You can also give us a call at 215-876-3002. Go to InvestorSchooling.com or give us a call, 215-876-3002, and you will learn this Thursday stock options trading, and you will have fun. All right, everybody, this is Larry Steinhaus, the real Larry Steinhaus, not the recorded Larry Steinhaus, not the one who was on the commercials. This is the real one. I just couldn't resist because, I sound like I'm channeling Crazy Eddie in every one of those commercials.
Yeah, I know you got a history with Crazy Eddie.
I do. I used to work there many years ago. All right, 855-939-1137. We got about 10 minutes left. 855-939-1137 if anybody wants to call in. All right, what do you want to talk about now, Phil? You want to talk about the war and how it affects the stock market, or you want to go there a little later?
I was going to talk about putting your money in investments that hedge inflation.
All right, let's do it.
Well, real estate does that very well.
Real estate rides inflation. The greatest thing that can happen to a real estate owner is inflation. So thank you, Biden.
Yeah,
That's what that commercial was all about, the one we just talked about.
So if the food prices are going up and gas prices are going up, yeah, does that hurt us a little bit? Sure, we have to pay that. But if we have a huge portfolio of real estate deals, we make up for it 100 times over.
Yeah, when I send my tenants a letter saying that I'm increasing rent just $100 a month, that's thousands to me and you every month, right? So when I go fill up my gas tank and it used to be $80 and now it's $110, I know it's only 1/3 of my rent increases, so that's 1/3 of one of my rent increases, which is pretty fascinating. So I don't mind.
I don't mind either.
Yeah, pretty nice, right?
But it's a good thing to explain to people that they should put their money in investments in
Absolutely.
investments that hedge inflation.
Yeah, but but isn't it too late? The inflation already happened. If I buy a house now, is it too late?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. in fact, so what? You have to keep going. You have to absolutely do what you need to do. I don't know. You have to do what you need to do, and what you need to do is you need to buy real estate, and you need to make money on it.
How dare you raise the rent?
How dare I know? I'm such a terrible guy because I raised my rent.
Boy, he won't like me either then.
You know, the funny part is apartment complexes automatically raise rent. They don't even give you an option. It's like, like as a landlord, we don't have to raise the rent. When you sign a lease on an apartment complex, you get a letter every year that says this is your next rent increase, and whether you like it or not, you can leave or you can stay.
That's the way I've always done it. You don't ask, you just say. Here's
Absolutely.
what we're doing.
And if I give them 60 days notice, and if they want to move, they can move.
See, you're a nice guy.
You don't even give them 60 days notice?
Me?
Well, in certain places you don't have to, but I do that just to give them the opportunity to move.
Well, I invoice my tenants every month, and I just notify them when the rent's going on.
That's awesome.
And they have their option to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Right?
Got it.
Fine with me.
Very cool.
Okay, want to go into the stock option Sultan? Is he around?
I think the stock option Sultan needs to be around, especially in this crazy time.
Stock option Sultan. Stock option Sultan.
All right, so I don't know. There's some news somewhere about some kind of war or something going on. I'm not even sure exactly if it is a war, but it's bizarre, the whole thing. And what happens? The stock market tanks pre-market on Thursday, tanks over 800 points because of the war, which made sense to me. And then in the middle of the day, or right around 2 o'clock, it came back on Thursday. And then yesterday, the market closed up 835 points. What? I don't get it. But all I know is I made money on that rise. I knew Thursday some of my alerts triggered. And I'll tell you, it's funny because we teach people how to trigger alerts in their phone. They could trigger alerts when the stock's at a certain number to buy them. And sure enough, I did the same thing on Thursday. Now, like 3 or 4 of my alerts went off, and I only bought one of the stocks. But if I would have bought all 4 of them, I would have made 50, 60 grand yesterday. I just did what I say everybody else does. I got scared, and I shouldn't have gotten scared. I should have just followed the alert and did exactly what I did. But it was a great day, and actually, I got some plays out there. One of my favorite plays, I'm telling you right now, Meta, which is Facebook, is going to be a great play. It was beaten down way too much in the last earnings report, and they're losing money on the what's it called, the metaverse, and that's where they're focusing their money. But Zuckerberg, he always bounces back, and Facebook alone will make enough money to absorb any losses in the metaverse, even if he decides not to do it. So I don't see a problem with that at all. I see the stock going back to 250, 260 range pretty quickly. I would even say by next earnings it'll be 250, 260, and I don't see an issue with that at all. Apple is just kind of hovering there. Apple is right around, I think it's 162, 163. Let me take a quick look. 164 actually, because it went up on Friday too. Yeah, so it's at 164. It's also a good stock. It's a great stock. I think, by the way, if you wanted to buy stocks and just hold them, I would say buy Apple, buy Facebook. I would buy Uber. I would buy AT&T just to hold the stocks. These are not stocks. These are not necessarily stock option plays. But Meta and Apple are definitely awesome stock option plays. I'm actually looking for Apple to fall around to 155. And if it does, I'm going to jump in. I just like to see, definitely make some money on it. So, 164, I know I can make money. But I actually, 155, I know I can make money. If you understand the difference, So that's why I've been holding off a little bit too. You have anything that you want me to talk about?
No, I was tempted to throw some money into the market when the war had begun.
Right.
I knew there was going to be a play there, but I'm also playing with money that I need to buy my forever house in.
Yeah, sure.
So if I somehow make a mistake and lose a bunch of that money, my forever house becomes forever difficult to get.
And your wife forever hates you.
Yes, so we can't have that happen.
Yeah, and in fact, that's one of the things we teach too. We teach you to control your risk. If I was to lose, I don't, in my case, I currently have about $250,000 running in the stock market, and if I was to lose it, it wouldn't change my life. It would stink, but it wouldn't change my life, and that's what you need to do. You need to understand that when you're investing in stock options especially, there's high risk that you can lose everything that you invest in. Now, we're going to teach you ways to mitigate that risk, but you still need to know that as well, and that's why you got to be careful with that, and that's why he's choosing to hold back while he's looking to buy his forever house, and then I'm sure he'll leverage his forever house after that and buy some stock options. I wouldn't even be surprised.
Yeah, I definitely want to get back into the game of stock option trading.
Absolutely. It's fun.
But
not stock options investing, as we say, right? Stock options trading. We've been corrected.
Yes, we have been.
By the way, we got 30 seconds. Why don't you take us out?
All righty. We want to thank our producer, Henry, and Omri. And if you're interested in becoming a sponsor on this show, you can simply email us at info@investorschooling.com, info@investorschooling.com, and we could run some of your ads instead of all of Larry's ads. Okay?
I noticed that.
Don't forget to visit investorschooling.com for your free class this Thursday night at 7 p.m.
All right. Take care, everybody.
This is a paid commercial announcement and in no way represents the views of WPHT or its management.